Yeah, I mean, it's easy to take your foot off the gas pedal.
Yes.
You get to sleep in your own bed finally and come out a little bit flat. But this is September. These are meaningful games that we talked about on the pregame. And the leadership in that clubhouse from, all the guys, JD, Lindor, all these people understand what's at stake. They want to make sure coming to the field that they're ready to go. They count on the young guys to come in here with some energy. They bring it themselves. I want to make sure that Carlos Mendoza, I guarantee you he was making sure everybody had the dial turned in. But this is a really important performance coming off such a long road trip to establish against a very good Boston Red Sox team who's fighting in nearly the same position as the Mets. They're trying to win every ball game too.
That is
really
true.
A statement win off the road trip.
I would agree with you. Red Sox sliding a little bit. Now, they have lost 3 consecutive games while the Mets are heading in the opposite direction. The Mets now 10 games over 500 for the first time this year after being 11 games under early in the season. Then they had that team meeting and things began to change. But a lot of it has to do with the pitching. And you loved what you saw out of Luis Severino tonight. Take us through his night, what he did so well.
Yeah, well, he did a little bit of everything well. He didn't have his changeup, but what he did it was very effective. Right off the bat, he started to establish the fastball. So you're facing Tyler O'Neill. You're up 0-0, 2 outs. Guess what? I'm going to get that fastball. He called that high strike all game long. He stuck with it. They're looking for breaking balls because Tyler O'Neill can hit it. And then he says, you know what? I'm just going to establish this fastball. Then off that, he uses that cutter. This was so effective for him tonight. It got a lot of weak contact. This was a huge ground ball with runners on first and second in the second inning to end that inning. Then this is Tristan Casas. He didn't have just the fastball, cutter, sinker going. He had that nice, beautiful slider on occasion. That's a perfect backdoor 2-strike pitch. And then in the 6th inning, this is another sweeper. He had that great tight spin on it. Look how far away from the ball that is. That is a devastating sweeper. He ends up going out for the 7th inning. This is what I wanted to point out. The cutter usage is higher. His changeups were way down. Those are kind of interchangeable pitches when you're facing such a left-handed dominant lineup like they are in Boston. The cutter comes in on their hands a lot, and then the changeup, you have to kind of get out in front of that. But he had his cutter going early and often, and that was the pitch that he trusts. So he got in on those guys' hands a lot, creating a lot of easy pop-ups, and the Mets defense played really well behind him.
They did. How much of that, when you look at, we saw the pitch usage tonight, how much of that is just feel as the game is unfolding?
Yeah, 100%. Your stuff is going to tell you what you have working. You know, sometimes in the first few innings, you've got your cutter working, but it goes away and you go to that changeup. This was easy for him. He had a really good fastball tonight. He had a solid cutter, and then he went to that sweeper. Stayed away from the changeup. Whatever you have on the day, you try to use it, and to go 7 innings, that shows you just how good his stuff was.
All right, so he picks up his 10th win of the year, and it's the first time, by the way, Luis Severino has won double-digit games in 6 years. Got to go back to 2018 when he had a big year with the Yankees. So a good night for Severino. The bullpen gets the job done. We'll talk about that coming up just a little bit. But from an offensive standpoint, we've talked about this so many times with the manager. He seems to pull a lot of the right strings. And tonight, for a second consecutive game, he starts Luis Torrens behind the plate. And he has 2 doubles in the game, both in the same direction there into left field. Let's go back out Citi Field right now. Here's Steve Gelbs with Luis Torrens.
There you go. Luis Torrens, pair of doubles for you today. Both of them on 2 strikes, but that second one especially, you were ultra aggressive to push it to second. Why did you push like you did? What did you see?
Well, you know, when you have the opportunity to hit in from Lindor, all those guys, I just trying to get in scoring position, so that's what I try.
All right, Luis Severino, 7 strong innings. What did you see behind the plate from him today?
Well, everything looks so great today. Sliders plays well, fastball, the sinkers, and we always attack the zone. I think that was the most important thing today.
This starting pitching staff has been so good for a while now. Overall, what have you seen from this group?
Well, of those guys, we have a goal. Our goal is to keep pushing for playoff spot, you know, and I think that is a special feeling right now in those guys.
Well, 5 wins in a row has you within a half game of that final playoff spot. Luis Torrens, thanks so much for the time.
Well, thank you, guys.
We got to look at numbers here as we go inside the numbers presented by New York Lottery. And since the 14th of June, look at this. The Mets have the best starting pitcher ERA in the National League. Better than the Braves, better than Milwaukee. And it's a big reason they find themselves in the position they are. on this night. Again, a half game behind Atlanta for that final wild card spot in the National League. Are you surprised, Jerry, at what they've gotten from their starting pitching?
I am. I'm more surprised at the length that they've gotten out of these guys, because when you signed Sean Manaea, it wasn't because he's so great the third time through. He's a very good pitcher, but he's established himself and to go deeper in this game. When you signed Luis Severino, coming off an injury from the last year, he comes in, establishes himself, and his ability to go deep. And on top of that, David Peterson coming off of an injury, you didn't know what you were going to get out of him. It's just been really remarkable, the length that this rotation has given them throughout the years, and especially as of late, over the last couple of months, they've been spectacular at going deep, and you have to be effective to go deep. They're not just going to throw you back out there.
And it was one of the big question marks surrounding this team at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I would agree with that, but they have come through with flying colors. And again, 24 games to go now in the regular season for the Mets.
Steve?
Carlos, what did you see out of Severino tonight?
I thought he was really good. I think the way he mixed his pitches today, he didn't fall into patterns and, just one pitch. I thought him and Louis got on the same page, and it was a good game plan there. The sweeper was good. The cutter, and then the four seam, even though the velo, was 94, 96, it was good enough to get, by. There's a pretty good lineup there with a lot of left-handed hitters. And again, I thought sequencing was really good today.
When you look at this run that you guys have gone on to get right back there on the brink of a playoff spot, how much do you credit not just the way the starting staff has pitched in terms of quality, but the quantity too, the length that they've been giving you as of late?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons we are through, where we are. We've been getting a lot of starts where they're giving us a chance, they're keeping us in game, and even when it's a struggle for them, they're continuing to find ways to keep us in the game. We've seen it from Manaea, we've seen it from Sevy, whether it's Peterson, Q, even when he's not at his best. McGill had an opportunity and gave us a chance. Blackburn. So there's a lot of guys here that, continue to do what they need to do to give us a chance. So we want to continue to need them. We want to continue to rely on them. And it's important to continue to check with them because right now, especially with Sevy and Manaea, where they at inning-wise, we have to make sure that they're bouncing back well.
Tony? You just touched a little bit on my question, but we've asked you a lot over the course of this year about Severino and kind of being in uncharted territory the last 5-6 years with his innings. Just how pleased are you that we're here in September, the stuff has held up, the effectiveness has held up, all of that?
Yeah, proud of him. Because, excuse me. He continues to work so hard, in between outings. And all the time that he's spending in the training room, in the weight room, I think he's helping him put in this position, the past 2 years were hard for him, and you got to give him credit, man. Like every time I see him in the training room, every time I see him in the weight room, it's just the nutrition. There's always something. And yes, there's going to be times where I'm going to have to make some tough decisions. Today was one of them. He got done. He was through 6, and he was at 82 pitches. And knowing that he's on short regular rest, so there was a decision there for me. But talking to him, he was honest, and he went back out and found a way to finish that inning.
What did he say?
Who? Sevy on that conversation? Yeah, no, it was just. I'm not going to go into details, but it wasn't with the same conviction, So that doesn't mean he didn't want to go back out there. He's always going to go back. But just moving forward, there's going to be times where I'm going to have to pull the plug here and just rely on the bullpen. Thank you.
Jerry. Oh, I'm sorry. Jerry, we'll go over there.
Carlos, you guys got a season high 10 over 500 today. 3 months ago, you were 11 under. I know you got a ways to go and more ground to make up. But what do you think about what's to say for this team that's been able to go from that extreme to this point in just about 3 months?
Yeah, what a story, right? But proud of the guys. Again, he's been a lot of ups and downs. but we never quit. We never gave up. We always continue to believe. We knew we had a good room. We knew we had good players, and it was just a matter of time for us to not only prepare and get better at the things that we needed to get better, but actually go out there and execute and get the job done. And again, players, coaches, support, a lot of people, and yeah, here we are playing meaningful games in September, but we haven't done anything. So we know where we're at, and the mindset continues to be one game at a time, one series at a time, and let the team play out. I think it's just preparation, it's holding each other accountable, but keeping it fun. Today was a fun night, being back here in our house in front of a really good crowd. So that's what it's all about.
Mike. Can you talk about Maton and the versatility that you've been able to get out of him in various different positions?
Man, he's been everything we asked him. Honestly, I went in today trying to stay away from him. There was a couple of guys that I went in the game trying to stay away from him, but after he went out there and played catch, because he's been used a lot, and after he played catch, talking to half, I was like, safe situation, knowing that we didn't have Diaz today. Might be the only situation we use him in. The way he's thrown strikes, he uses all of his pitches. He makes the breaking ball, the cutter. He's executing pitches, and again, just the fact that his ability after the way we've been using him, he's been huge for us.
Anthony.
Carlos, Steve Cohen was around pre-game today. Did he have any particular message for you going into this last month?
Keep it going. No, he's having fun. It's always good to have him around. We all know how much watching the team playing the way we're playing. But yeah, it was just more informal conversation. Just checking in, feel like we were going forever. So, but yeah, it was good to have him around today.
Danny.
Yes. Carlos, hubo variaciones en la alineación, salieron airosos. ¿En qué se enfocaron para sacarle ventaja a este partido que fue tan importante?
Sí, muchas combinaciones. Yo pienso que pues con lo que tenemos disponible, JD yendo a la lista de paternidad, conociendo cómo es Bello, que es difícil contra derecho. Busqué la manera de poner todos los zurdos necesarios en la alineación y poder balancear pues el line-up, sabiendo también que pues tengo que mantener a algunos muchachos frescos para lo que viene ahora mismo. Y gracias a Dios pues las cosas salieron bien hoy. Los muchachos respondieron, un DJ Stewart que se le dio viniendo de AAA y dio 2 buenos turnos al bate. Y mira, aquí los muchachos van a seguir recibiendo la oportunidad, hay que darle la confianza porque son 26 peloteros que voy a usar.
Jerry. Do the guys in the dugout hear the MVP chants for Francisco? And, what do you guys think of hear that? And people maybe realizing just how big a year he's had for you guys the last few months.
I'm not going to lie, it was pretty cool. I felt it too, and it was like, wow, looking back to April, and here we are, first week of September, and we had 40,000 people chanting MVP. That's pretty cool. Again, special player, special person, and he's everything you could ask from a player. I'm just proud to write his name in the lineup every day.
Peter.
You mentioned the consistency of the rotation. Do you get a sense that these guys kind of feed off of each other when they see one person do well and they want to do well the next night?
Yeah, it's contagious, and it's like hitting. You get 1, 2, 3 guys going. Same thing pitching wise. One guy takes the ball and he goes out there and throws 6, 7. The next guy feels like, all right, I got to match that, and I feel it's like a healthy competition, and it's fun to watch.